So back in May, we had you on. We were talking sort of about the health of the mining sector. You said it's not very healthy, but there's value in the sector. Has anything changed in the last 5 months? I mean, we have seen prices, sort of fall to the floor. What are your thoughts on the sector now?
So I don't know if I've earned the right to say it's healthy or unhealthy, but my view on the sector is there's too much noise, and it makes the average investor's job very difficult. And by too much noise, I mean, if you're an investor coming into our sector, how do you differentiate between a high potential company that you can hopefully invest in and make a bunch of money, and the one that has essentially just been promoting the same soil anomaly, drill hole, whatever it may be, for years and years? And my personal view is the tools today do not exist for the average investor to differentiate between that. And when you look at the number of companies we have, sort of in the junior space, it's probably, I think it's 1,200, 1,500 companies. How does an investor come in to our industry and differentiate if they don't know anything about mining in the first place? The tools don't exist. And that's where I think our industry as a whole, we need to almost come together in such a way and present what we do in a standardized format so people can actually understand. And it doesn't go for those of us that actually invest in the sector. This is for the outside groups. My own view is what we need something like what Uber did to the taxi industry. Like, Uber didn't just come along and find an extra few million drivers so we have more options. Every single person that uses Uber has a rating system to hold the driver accountable to the service they give. And if the driver has a high rating system, they get more rides and they get preferential treatment. So we don't have that in our sector, because now, like, look what happens, not just in your Uber, but in a lot of cities where Uber came in. You get a bottle of water, you can plug your phone in, you can choose your own music. You don't have to get anxiety from asking if it's okay if you pay with a credit card. That whole industry upped its game, and it's not like the taxi industry was bad or wrong or doing anything. There was just that lack of accountability. And if our mining sector could have something like that, where an investor could come in and differentiate between sort of the higher potential and lower potential companies without all the noise, and whether it's a star rating system or who knows, that's where I think we need to go, and that's where VRify is trying to insert itself into the industry.
Great points. I mean, there's also Airbnb as well.
TripAdvisor, Rotten Tomatoes. It's right across the board. You're seeing it in.
But okay, yes, the mining industry sort of maybe needs to change, maybe needs to update, embrace, sort of the new millennium.
Yeah.
But is there still some life? I mean, we have heard at this conference that money sort of is trickling in.
Yeah, there's definitely life, and I'm not a believer the industry's dead, and obviously my own experience with Integra Gold is there's opportunities within our industry to create phenomenal wealth, both for people but also for the communities that our companies operate in. So I approach the industry as a believer in the industry, and that is my bias, and I'm going to live with that. There is money. I don't know if it's trickling in at a higher or a faster or slower rate, but I'm the chairman of Integra Resources. We announced a financing on Monday, a share deal, a $10 million financing with a $4 million non-brokered financing on the side, and the entire financing was oversubscribed within about 12 hours.
Wow.
So it's still there. I think the market is being very selective, and I think as a whole, the industry, like capital, really is going to just follow capital. I think we need retail to come back. I think the institutions, once they see the liquidity that retail brings, they're going to be much more powerful. Hopefully we can reverse that trend to outflows, and then it'll just build on itself, and all of a sudden the whole industry will be back.
But I guess it starts with information. It starts with having reliable, credible information, so it's easy to understand.
Yeah, and in a lot of ways, if the gold price, whatever commodity price, skyrockets, it's good for investors. It's not necessarily the best thing for companies if we don't have the tools, again, because when that happens, you can see everything else kind of, the rising tide floats all boats.
And we'll fall into the same traps as, business as usual. That's perfect. I thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
And good luck with VRify and Integra. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining Kitco. Stay tuned for more coverage from Mines and Money Toronto.